Hey, what is going on, guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at Gundam Converge Series 13. We've unboxed a bunch of these, so you guys know how it goes. We're just going to take a look at all the figures here in the box. And just one thing before we start off, I want to mention about the Converge Crossbone Gundam X1, which we recently took a look at. As you saw in that video, the face on mine is kind of messed up. It doesn't really look very good, so I actually got in touch with Hobby Link Japan. I sent them an email and told them about it, that I was displeased with the quality of this, and so they're sending me a new one. So if you are like me and got yours from Hobby Link Japan and the face is kind of messed up or the molding on it is not good, then contact them and hopefully you should be able to get a new one as well. So here is Converge Series 13. We've got some really cool mobile suits in here. We've got the Dom, we've got the Tall Geese 3, we've got the full armor Gundam, we've got the Crossbone X1, the Crossbone X2 Kai, and the Shinenju Stein narrative version. So I'm actually anxious to see if any of the parts from this guy will actually work with that guy. I'm sure the weapons probably will, so that's cool, but we'll take a look at all this here in the box. I'm guessing we're going to have one of each of the crossbones and then two of everything else, as there's 10 in a box here. So we'll just get this popped open, and yep, there we go. Actually, I was wrong. So yeah, we've got two Doms, two full armor Gundams, two Shinenju Steins, but then two Crossbone X1s and only one Tall Geese 3 and one Crossbone X2 Kai. So that's pretty interesting. I really was not expecting that, but either way, it works out. I was especially looking forward to having two of the full armor Gundams because I want to repaint one of them into maybe the blue color scheme. But that's pretty cool. Repainting one of the Doms would also be pretty fun. As well as the Tall Geese. The Tall Geese 3 obviously doesn't really have any color variations, so there's not really too much point to wanting to repaint one of those. Probably would have given away the extra one of that anyway, so that really works out. So we're going to go, as usual, in order, starting off here with the Crossbone X1. Looks like is going to be first, so let's have a look. So he'd be number 194 in the Converge line. Crossbone Gundam X1. Looks like it's basically just going to come with the sword and the guns. I think that's called the Zanzibar gun, Zanbar, maybe I'm just thinking Metal Gear Zanzibar, but maybe a Zanbar gun, I believe that is, and then the sword is a part of that, but I'm guessing we're just going to have two options, so it is pretty cool that we have two of the crossbones in here, because I can have one with the gun and one with the sword. That'd be pretty nice, so you can see the other ones there in the line. If you buy these individually, I think individually these should cost around 500 yen, if you can get them like in Japan or around Japanese prices. Obviously, buying them individually outside of Japan, they're probably going to cost more. So buying them in a box is always a good idea, a good way to go. Here's our Bandai chewing gum, and then whoa! I gotta say, right off the bat, the crossbone part there for this back is not as warped as the one that came with my full cloth version, so that's good. And the face looks good. Well, let's just get it out of the packaging and see. Here he is all put together, and as you can see, it looks really nice. No imperfections with this. It looks like a lot of nice detail colors around all on it as well. Still plenty of room to go in and maybe do some panel lining, paint in a few more of the extra little details that they didn't get, especially around on the back side. They don't normally get all the details, but still from the front it looks good. The rifle looks nice as well, though we can take that out of his hand and also try out the sword here. So there we go. The sword also looks quite nice. It's very bright. I think I'm pretty glad that it came in this kind of like metallic-y silver pink paint. It seems to be probably brighter than it would have been if it was the actual just clear part. So it looks really nice. Do kind of wish that maybe there was a way to plug the rifle onto the side skirt here, but then it probably would have made it a little bit too crowded in that space. But it would have been cool just so you don't have the rifle just like sitting off to the side and you have to stick it somewhere. And yeah, so there is no articulation, but you can move the arm up a little bit here like this, basically, if you wanted to. Otherwise, these aren't really meant to be too articulated. They're just kind of meant to just stay as they are. For comparison, here is the old Converge Crossbone X1. You can see definitely a big difference in the proportions. The old Converges had a lot more kind of bobblehead style to them, a little bit more SD style. But the colors are also a little bit different, so you can see like the yellow is a little bit more orange on the older version, but still both of them are pretty nicely detailed. You can see down back here on the back especially a big difference in what's painted on there, what comes pre-painted, and on the rifle as well. But still, I mean, I really like both of them. They both just have a different style. You can see there's also the pre-printed marking there on the chest of the old one, where the new one doesn't have that. The new one just has the blank chest on there. So if you have a tiny decal, you can maybe put that on there. What I'm also curious about is if I can pull off the arm and switch the arm with the full cloth arm, so that I could maybe make it like a semi-clothed version of this. So let's try it out here. Alright, so it seems like it should work. to put this into there, but actually it's a little bit too small. It doesn't quite fit. It's too loose in there. So you can see if you try to put it in there, it's just going to fall straight out. So if you can find a way, whichever way you might want to do that, if this is something that you wanted to do by yourself, just to thicken that peg, or just put a little bit of tack in there or something, glue it in, or however you wanted to do that. But at least you could also swap the weapons as well. The weapons are all the same size handle, so those would be able to be swappable. Okay, so then up next is going to be number 195, the Crossbone Gundam X2 Custom, or the X2 Kai, whichever one you want to go with. It's a little bit different from the regular X2. It has this different gun instead of the lance, just this long gun. The backpack's a little bit different. I'm not sure if the colors are technically different, although this the color of this one is a little bit different from the other Converge X2 that I have, which I'll show you in a moment. But again, looks really nice. It's basically the same mold as the X1, except for the backpack and the weapon and the V-fin, I think. This one, it seems, is only going to come with one single weapon, though, so we aren't going to have an option with this one, it looks like. But let's get it open, and then we'll find out here. So here's the back once again, and just pop this open. We can get rid of this chewing gum there. And once again, it's basically just the Gundam, the V-fin, the backpack, and our weapon is actually stored in this little kind of cardboard thing there for security. Alright, and here he is, looking pretty awesome. That long weapon looks really nice. The colors look fantastic. I love the pops of the white, the yellow, purple. You can see the face on mine is a little bit odd. It seems to be sticking out just a little bit more than it should be. If you pop off the head, you can see that the part for the face, maybe you can't see it very well, but it's sticking out a little bit too much. It's not pushed back in all the way. I tried to push it, but it seems to be glued there, so I could maybe try to cut that out and then try to put it back in all the way so that it's actually in all the way where it should be, but it's really not all that noticeable, especially from the front, so probably just leave it. I do really like the eyes here. You can see the clear red for the eyes is dark, but you can see just a little bit of like glowing red there when you look at it from straight on, so it does look pretty cool. The weapon is in a kind of slightly metallic gray color, different from what's on the back, but again, just looks really nice. And again, here is the old Converge X2. Now this is the regular X2, not the X2 Kai, so it does have the different weapons. The backpack is a little bit different. It doesn't have the extra little fins on there. This one also, again, has the pre-printed decal there on the chest, where the new version does not. And you can also see the colors are quite different. This one is all in just like dark navy blue, kind of like the Banshee color, where we kind of normally think of the Banshee as black, but it's actually dark blue. It's the same with the crossbone here. It's a really dark blue color, whereas the new one is in black, and it does look pretty nice. So there it is with the X1 and X2 Kai. They make for a pretty nice looking set for sure, both really nicely detailed. And then up next here, number 196, is the Shinenju Stein. Now you'll notice it doesn't say Shinenju Stein narrative version, it just says Shinenju Stein in the box, which is kind of strange. It certainly is the narrative version, as you can tell by the weapons and the sleeves markings on the chest. Around here on the back, it probably does mention something about that it's from the narrative version. I'm not going to get out my translator and look through that. I can notice that it does say that it's from 0097, so that would be narrative, as Unicorn takes place in 96, and narrative takes place a year after Unicorn, I believe. So yeah, anyway, let's just get it open and check it out. I suppose another indicator would also be the color, by the fact that this is gray instead of white. Obviously, this is the narrative version and not the original Shinenju Stein. Alright, and here he is, looking really, really awesome, I gotta say. Again, just the details, proportions on these look super nice. The painting on the chest looks really fantastic, but it's missing from the arms, so you'll have to go in and do that yourself. Just paint it yourself, or do a reverse wash on that. You can see the detail there is really crisp and really deep. It's like really well pronounced, so doing a reverse wash on that will be really, really easy if you know how, or just paint it by hand should also be relatively easy. It's just help bring out those details. Lots of details around on the rest of the kit as well. Plenty of places to go in and paint in some more of the details inside these little vents and things like that on the fuel tanks there on the back. Doing some panel lining on those will look really nice. Even throw a couple of water slide decals on there will look good. You do have the marking of the Neo Zeon logo there on the shield as well, which does look pretty nice. Overall, yeah, just really nicely proportioned, nicely detailed. Looks pretty fantastic, I've got to say. Another great addition to the line. Up next, number 187, the Tallgeese 3, or Codename Wind. Really would have been cool if it would have come with the heat whip there as well. Unfortunately, it looks like it only comes with just the giant mega cannon and the shield, so that's pretty cool. I said before that I wasn't really too interested in painting a different color variant of this, but I do think that this blue here looks a little bit darker than my personal taste. Maybe it might be cool to go in and paint just the little bits of blue and a little bit lighter color blue, but otherwise lots of space on there. You can see lots of details that will look really good to go in and paint those just with the panel lining. Again, on white, it's better to panel line with the gray rather than black. So just a little heads up for those of you guys who weren't aware of that. But as you can see, there's going to be a lot of nice details on there and a lot of space for this to look better, I think, if you just throw a little bit of gray panel lining in there, it looks like. So here he is, also looking pretty cool. Gotta say, the shield and the rifle can be rotated a little bit, so you can kind of change the angle of that as you might wish. A little bit of green in there, the clear green for the visor does look pretty cool, and this one actually has some pre-painting on the underside of the shield, which is pretty rare for a Converge figure, but that's nice. Again, as you can see, it would look nice if you went in and did some panel lining on this, maybe paint in the little Vulcan ends on the head as well, just little details here and there, but it does look really good. Here on the back, the thruster pods also being just all blue could definitely benefit from a little bit of detail painting, a little bit of panel lining on those, but otherwise it does look really nice. Just the crest on the head looks really cool, and just the proportions look really nice and thick boy for being a little Tallgeese 3. Now here's the old Tallgeese 1. You can really see a big difference in proportions here as how bobblehead the old Tallgeese 1 is. Still looks cool, I think, for what it is, but there's definitely a big difference in the style, as you can see from the original Converge series and like the newer Converge series. So it just kind of depends on what you like. As far as I know, there was no original Tallgeese 3, so this is the first time that they've made a Tallgeese 3 in the line. Correct me if I'm wrong on that though. And then up next we've got number 198, the Full Armor Gundam. Really looking forward to this. This is probably the one that I was looking forward to the most out of this set, just because the Full Armor Gundam is so cool. Anything MSV is cool, and the Full Armor especially. The color scheme, the weapons, just the kind of the way it just looks really bulked out. It just looks really cool, so I'm really looking forward to this one. So you can see we've got the Gundam over here. It looks really nice, the colors of that, the V-fin, the cannon there. The cannon is looking kind of bright in that silver color. I don't really think I'm too jazzed about the color of that, so might have to definitely at least repaint that part, but let's have a look here. Here he is, and he looks fantastic, I gotta say. It looks really, really good, really happy with this. And if you take a look at the side profile of him, look at that lunge. That's some pretty incredible lunge on this guy. Definitely not happy about the color of this silver. Again, I'll just have to repaint that at least. But I think going in, painting some more of the details, panel lining this guy will definitely look really good. And this one especially, I think, will definitely benefit from throwing a couple of decals on it. Get a couple of like EFSF decals and throw those on there. This one is going to look really nice with that. And I'm going to say just the colors as well. The colors look really good for the Full Armor Gundam. So those of you guys who are fans of the Full Armor Gundam, I would definitely recommend this. I'm really, really happy with how this guy looks. And I do also have the original Converge version of the Full Armor Gundam here as well. I can tell not as much big difference in terms of the proportions. This new one's definitely a little bit taller, but the old one doesn't really have so much of the bobblehead. It does have a huge V-fin on it though, so that's kind of a little bit weird looking. You can also see the colors are definitely quite different. The green is a very different color of green. The chest vents are also different. They went with orange on the original one, gray on the new ones. You can see the little orange vents on the knees are quite different. They're much smaller on the new version. There's not as much orange there. So little differences here and there. I don't know, I quite like both of them. I definitely like the more just regular gray color for the weapons on the older version, but definitely pros and cons to both of them. They're both really quite nice. And last but not least, number 199 is the Dom. So that means that number 200 is going to be in the next set. I can't remember if that's anything special. Anyway, for the Dom, this is having the heat saber on the back and the bazooka. The heat saber I think is probably just going to be fixed on there. You probably can't actually do much with that. It's just going to be using the bazooka there primarily, I would guess. And so let's get it open and find out. Alright, and yep, it looks like there's the Mosu and there's the heat saber. It looks like the connection part for the heat saber is actually molded together with that, so you'd have to modify that even if you wanted to try to get that in the hand. But it's just going to be stuck on the back, it looks like. All put together, you gotta love how the Dom looks, and even in Converge form, especially the Dom looks really just cute and cool and awesome. Not as detailed as the other ones, as you can see, like just going around the kit, it doesn't quite have as much in the way of details. It's just little bits here and there, but I think that's just kind of the design of the Dom. It's just kind of not really the most detailed design. That fine, it works for it. I think all little pre-painted bits on here work nice, just a couple of them here and there. There's a little bit here in the camera, that little bit of red for the camera on the bazooka. The heat saber looks really nice in that nice bright yellow, but again, it can't move at all. If I take it off the stand here, I want to show you up underneath. There's some nice detail worth pointing out. You can see up in the back skirt, and then up underneath the legs as well, we have the little details of the thruster bells. They're painted up underneath the back skirt. Underneath the feet though, they're not actually pre-painted. You have to paint those yourself, but they're probably barely ever going to be seen. Like the underside of the feet, all of them have really nice detail on the underside of the feet, but you're never going to see that unfortunately. So that's a wrap for Series 13. What do you guys think about this series? I'm pretty happy with it. I think that the reason why we got 2 of the Crossbone X1s, when I was predicting we were going to have just 1 of each of the Crossbones, but I think the reason we got 2 of the Crossbone X1s is that it comes with 2 different weapon options, and so they were, I guess, maybe giving you a chance to have 2 of those, where all the other ones unfortunately only come with 1 weapon option. That's pretty normal, but it is always nice to have options, so it's cool that we got 2 different options for the Crossbone X1, and we got 2 of that figure, so that it all works out. As I always recommend to you guys, if you're interested in checking some of these out, which I would highly recommend, if you've never bought any, buy at least a couple of them and just try your hand at them. Even just stick it up on the shelf as it is, or try detailing them up a little bit. It's really fun, and they're really nice little figures. But yeah, if you're interested in getting some, go ahead and just share a box with a friend. Just pool your money together, so you're not paying for the full box, and then just keep the ones you want and share the other ones with your friends. It's a good way to get them at a better price. If you're just buying them one at a time, you're probably going to be paying a little bit too much for them, unless you can actually get them in Japan or from a friend in Japan or something like that. But they're worth checking out. If you never have, I would recommend it. Otherwise, I enjoy collecting them, so hope you guys enjoy watching these videos every time we get some more in. And so that is it for the video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you have questions or comments, of course, leave those down below. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Thanks for watching. See you next time.